Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. This is Jay Moore, your healthy accountant. And today, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about things that are easy, and we're talking about things that are hard. So let me ask you a question. What's your hard? What are the things that are hard that you are crushing? Now, here's the thing. Father of personal development, Mr. Jim Rohn himself, this is what he had to say. He says, when you do the things that are easy, your life will be hard. And when you do the things that are hard, your life will be easy. You know, every person on the planet, there's not a person on this planet that's not looking for ease. Come on now, seriously now. Everyone's looking for ease. Everyone, even me, I'm looking for ease. I'm looking for ease. Man, how can I just come up with topics? How can I do this podcast and it's easier? How can I do it and easily get people to come and watch it? Like when you do the things that are easy, what happens in your life? Like just think about that. Many of us, this that time of year, right? It's Christmas. Who doesn't love the time when you get gifts? Everyone loves gifts. Now, but let me ask you a question. Do you know your gift? Do you know what gift you've been given that's bigger than every gift you could ever get in your life? Come on now, it's Christmas. Oh, I want a new car. Hey, I want a new phone. I want, the kids may say, I want a new Xbox. I want this. But what about the adults? Like, so this conversation is for the adults because if you're an adult and you haven't discovered your gift. Now, here's the thing. Some people say, man, I know what my gift is. My gift, a lot of times gifts is in the hands. What do I mean by that? I have a gift. I have a gift to use my hands. And everyone has gifts to use their hand. My hand, because God's going to give everybody things that they can do in their hand, which I can cook, I can cut hair. Those two things are physical. I can do them. And if I needed to, I could actually earn money from them. Now, some people may have a gift to play the piano, to play the guitar, to play the saxophone, to play the drums. Some people have gifts to sing. These like they just inherently can do it. But when you do the things that are easy, your life's going to be hard. What do I mean my life is going to be hard? Well, let's think about it. We're living in one of the greatest times in history. Would you agree with me? We're living one of the greatest times. When I say greatest times, meaning there's so much opportunity that why would people not be like amazingly successful? I think a few months back, earlier this year, I talked about the internet, and I talked about if you're in this generation and you grew up, say in my generation, Generation X, the internet came when we we had a portion of our life without the internet, and then the internet was here. Many of us have only used the internet. Many of us only use Facebook. Many of us don't take it and use it. These are the hard things. Take it and say, what? How can I actually make money on the internet? But here's the thing. We're living the greatest time in history, and it seems like all the information is available for us, but yet people are still sitting around and not doing it. Why? Because they're looking at it and say, I'm going to just do what's easy. I'm going to just keep my secure job and hope that I can retire and I have a little something left over, and I can take care of myself. Like, who wants to just retire? Like, one thing that I've seen in retirement is that people that go into retirement, I don't know, like a lot of people in retirement, they just kind of get, complacent. One of the things that is documented, that when people go into retirement, that they don't live much longer. A lot of people don't live much longer. Now, some people live longer. Today we can live longer in life because of different, just because of life itself. Our life is not as hard as it used to be. Many years ago, back when people still kind of lived outside, like years and years ago, people died faster, right? They died faster because there wasn't access to a lot of the things we have. So we're living one of the greatest times in history, and a lot of us focus on the easy life, the easy life. Now, let's just jump ahead real quick, because what if, I'm gonna ask you this question. What if at some point, right, you was having a conversation with a great grandchild? You were living, whatever, the great grandchild's coming to you, talking to you like, granddaddy, grandmama, you were living before the internet? You were living before Google? You were living before Facebook, and before TikTok, and before YouTube, before Instagram? You were actually living? Tell me about that time in life. And let me ask you this, great grandma and great grandpa, how did you use those tools? Oh, I just hung out on them, and it was called social media. And so we just socialized, talking about stuff, posting about nothing. I'm not going to say that. Just posting, and just basically we just hung out. So you telling me, grandma and grandpa, you didn't use the fact that it was new, and you could have gotten, it's like getting in early. How a lot of times you want to get in early on something. Well, I thought about it, but I don't know. I had a really good job at the time, and the job was paying me okay. But when I retired, things didn't seem to be as easy as I thought they would be. See, guys, when you do the things that are easy, when you do the things that don't challenge you, guys, this is Christmas and everyone's looking for gifts. But what if I told you got one of the greatest gifts already? Well, two great gifts. First gift is the first gift is that you have the gift. You have the gift of accepting eternal life. Like, that's the biggest gift. Then the other gift is the fact that we all have a special gifting. Everybody has one, at least one. Everybody has at least one gift. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to focus. Man, you got to look up this guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's into the science of the mind. He's into the science of different things that we can do as human beings. Now, if you're a kingdom entrepreneur, he's not going to be talking about God. He's not going to be talking about the kingdom or anything like that. However, look, at the end of the day, it all comes from the same place. It all comes from God, right? And so he's talking about, he's teaching people how to use what they already have. How to use what they already have. Meaning, if he's not talking about gifting, what he's talking about is that, look, we have to, you have to disconnect yourself from the physical. He calls it the three-dimensional world. You have to disconnect yourself from the three-dimensional world, which is external from us. And you have to go inside. And he teaches a lot of meditations. He's got a great book that I read last year, Being Supernatural. I think that's what it's called, but you should look him up on YouTube. Got tons of videos out there on just understanding. Now here's the thing. I'm sharing that with you because here's, when you need to do this hard thing, you're gonna need to sit out. You're gonna need to disconnect from this. Yep, you need to disconnect from YouTube, Facebook, internet, podcasts. You need to disconnect from your phone. You need to disconnect from everything. You just need to sit down in a room and quiet everything, and you got to get focused. He calls it, you have to get into the field of all possibilities. The field of all possibilities. This happens through a meditative state. Have you ever meditated before? Meditation is kind of like prayer. It's kind of like prayer. He wasn't called prayer, but I'm gonna tell you, meditation is kind of like prayer because you have to center. You have to center yourself in an environment that's totally invisible. Close your eyes and you have to imagine yourself in this invisible field. But this isn't easy. This isn't easy, guys. What do I mean by that? It's not easy because it's not going to be what you're normally doing. And people, listen, right now, your body, I can guarantee your body runs everything. Your mind is not running everything. Your mind is listening to your body. Yep. Your body is in control because right now, think about this. You get hungry, you eat. You get hungry, or listen, what I figured out. Here's what I figured about myself. I figured out how, dude, I'm driven. I've been driven by external sensation. When I say external sensation, meaning food, working out is external, it's not internal. And I'm gonna say sex, right? These things are things that are arousal points. Food is an arousal point. Sex is an arousal thing. Like even working out, that's an arousal point. Like I'm being aroused somehow. Being honest here, right? And so I realized this, wow, my body's running everything. Even though there's times when my mind takes over, my body been running everything. This is not easy, but it's worth it. See, when you do the things that are hard, your life will be infinitely more easy. Your life will be better than it ever has been. There's a scripture I love to quote. God's Paul says, God can do far more than you can ask for or imagine through the power that's working in you. So in order for that power to activate, you've got to quiet down. You don't actually have to imagine what that power can do. What you do have to do is you have to take yourself into the imagination of who you really are. Who are you? Who are you? That's like the first thing we have to understand, and we're going to talk about this in the Good Accounting Challenge starting tomorrow, is that, well, no, that's on Tuesday. But identity, who you are, speaks to your identity of who you've been created to be. That's what who you are is. And so if we're not connected to that person, then our life's going to be, our life will be hard, which means that we focus on all the easy things and all that abundance that we're carrying. We won't ever get there. Guys, this is a long teaching, right? Meaning this is everyday. You got to jump in every day. Join me every day on this podcast. Every day on this podcast. Looks like we're going to be doing it every day forever. But join me every day on this podcast. We're going to always touch on something that you can tangibly use to account for your life, right? Because look, at the end of the day, we don't have to create everything new, but we do have to discover what's new on the inside of us. And what's new is the fact that we need to know who we are. We need to understand the identity that we were created in. And because if we understand the identity that we've been created in, your life and my life will be infinitely easier than it ever has been. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the I AFYL Podcast. Don't forget, join the Good Accounting Challenge, which is starting tomorrow. And look, the Good Accounting Challenge is helping business owners to actually discover there's five phases that we're going to talk about that business owners are going to go through so that you can grow your business. It's not really about financial accounting. It's about the accounting that helps you to become the business owner and do the stuff within the business that you need to do. So guys, I appreciate you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow back here on the on the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, healthy accountant, helping you to account for life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.